Hello, the topic of today's lesson is angles and lines. The angles formed by intersecting lines. I love these problems. I enjoy solving them. I find it's like solving a mystery for a missing angle, kind of like a whodunit. You're giving some information and then you have to use the tools of geometry to solve for a missing angle. So let's go. We have two intersecting lines, straight lines. Very important detail. If the problem does not tell you that the lines are straight, you cannot assume that the lines are straight. Here we have two straight lines that cross each other. And obviously they cross at a single point and create four angles. The four angles are A, B, C, and D. We have opposite angles. What are opposite angles? We do have angle A is opposite of angle C, and I'm going to use a different color. Angle B, the space, is vertically opposite of angle D. In geometry, we have a theorem. Vertically opposite angles are equal. We also use this word called, in geometry, congruent. Congruent means equal. So if the measure of angle A is 34 degrees, because vertically opposite angles are congruent or equal, angle C is also 34 degrees. And so let me label it. Angle A is 34, angle C is also 34 because they are congruent. But how do we find angle B? Well, angle B is not that difficult to find because this is an angle on a straight line. And I hope you remember that angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So if A and B are 180 degrees, then B is 180 degrees minus 34 degrees, giving us 146. And because angle B equals 146, therefore angle D is also 146. And I hope you check your work. Oh, we did not measure the unknown angles. We used logic and the theorem. I hope you remember that all angles at a point add up to 360 degrees. So if we add 34 plus 34 and 146 plus 146 together, they all must add up to 360 degrees. This is a very helpful theorem because we look at angles created by intersecting of straight lines a lot in geometry, and that's a very important tool in your studying. Now, the next important tool is understanding a straight line. So if we do have a straight line, angles P, Q, and R are angles in a straight line. What does it mean? This, I'm going to label it S. S is a straight line. And we do have rays. We have rays that are coming out. We have this ray, and we have another ray right here. And we have three different angles, angle P, Q, and R. Because these angles are all on a straight line, sharing the common vertex, we have all angles on a straight line always add up to 180 degrees. Straight line, we also call these angles supplementary. This will come up in grade 6, but this is your enrichment. Angles on a straight line are called supplementary. Angles P, Q, and R are supplementary angles because they add up to 180 degrees and are located on a straight line. So what are their measures? It says measure the unknown angles. Measure. I cannot do measuring of using a protractor on my recording. So this is 50 degrees. We label it. Whatever measure you have, my friends, whatever the measure is, I do know, but I want you to take your protractor and measure it correctly. You must have the sum of all three angles adding up to 180 degrees. This is our theorem number 2 for this lesson. And finally, the third important theorem is when we are working with angles that are all adding up, are all starting from a common vertex. Let me label it with a black marker. Angles X, Y, and Z are all angles at a point. What does it mean to be an angle at a point? Well, that just means that you have a common vertex and they are all kind of around each other. And the angles at a point, if I am to draw an angle and measure, we know the full circle is 360 degrees. Therefore, angle X plus angle Y plus angle Z must add up to 360 degrees. Again, it says to measure the unknown angles. First, we have to label what we know. This is 60 degrees, and I do hope that you will be able to measure, and they must add up to 360 degrees. This is our theorem number 3. Again, let's review the important theorems. Theorem number 1, vertically opposite angles are equal. Sometimes you will see the word congruent, angles that are created by two intersecting straight lines. Straight lines, very important piece of information. We might have an angle, a straight line going like this, and a straight line going like this. Whichever way the lines cross, they create angle A and angle B will be equal to each other, and angle C and angle D will also be equal to each other. Vertically opposite angles are congruent. The second theorem are that angles on a straight line, if they do belong, if they share a straight line and all share a common vertex, they will add up to 180 degrees. We will also learn a little bit later that they're called supplementary. Angles on a straight line are called supplementary. And the third theorem of the day, we're not proving them. This is only grade 5. We will prove them later in real geometry, in standalone geometry class. This is also real geometry. The sum of all angles at a point add up to 360 degrees. So we will use these 3 theorems in the future exercises to solve for missing angles. One of my favorite types of problems in geometry.